An Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliner has crashed in India, killing almost everyone on board and injuring dozens more on the ground. This has everybody asking, how could this have happened? There's two leading theories, but first, we need to talk about the plane itself. The plane was a 787 Dreamliner, Boeing's most advanced aircraft. When most people hear about Boeing, they're most familiar with the Boeing 737, the much maligned aircraft at the center of a lot of controversy over the past few years. But the Dreamliner is a completely different airplane, designed from different materials with different avionics. It's designed for the modern age. But the Dreamliner isn't without its own controversy. In 2013, Boeing discovered lithium-ion battery overheat problems, leading to a grounding of the entire fleet. While these battery issues were solved, the Dreamliner was later implicated in Boeing's ongoing quality control scandal. In total, around 1,200 of these aircraft have been delivered, but this is the first total hull loss. One passenger posted a video that he claims is from the same plane from the flight before. He notes that nothing was working when he was trying to use the infotainment system, despite other people being able to use the system successfully. Regardless of the veracity of the video, the plane's infotainment system is not considered a flight critical system. If the system isn't working, the plane may still fly safely. But regardless of this, we have two videos of the accident sequence, so let's start with the takeoff. All the videos posted online so far are fairly low quality. They're mostly of cameras pointing at screens that are playing back videos. This introduces two layers of video distortion and moire effects, which can make things appear that don't actually exist. Early ADS-B data showed that the plane might have done an intersection takeoff. However, this is later corrected. The plane did backtrack and do a full-length takeoff. This first video is taken from a security camera positioned right about here. If we line up the corner of the fence with the corner of the building, we can get a fairly accurate position of the camera. Since the plane rotated and took off right behind the building, we can estimate that the plane took off somewhere around here. Under normal circumstances, with a full load of fuel and passengers, this is about the right place for the plane to be taking off. Some people have noted what they say is smoke coming off the airplane when it rotates. However, this is most likely just dust kicked up by the wingtip vortices as the plane rotated. From the time the plane leaves the ground until impact, only 30 seconds have elapsed. The plane only climbs for about 10 seconds before descending towards the ground. One important thing to note is that the landing gear is never retracted. On takeoff, once the plane has a positive rate established, the first thing the pilots do is retract the landing gear. This could indicate a mechanical failure, but it could also indicate that the pilots were dealing with another emergency. The plane was loaded with enough jet fuel to get it all the way to London, causing a massive fireball on impact. The other footage comes from a lot closer to the airplane, giving us a lot more detail to what might have happened. We note the plane's high nose-up attitude while descending, indicating the plane is losing speed quickly. Under normal circumstances, the Dreamliner, even fully loaded, has enough power to climb on a single engine. This very well may indicate a dual engine failure. With both engines failed, the plane would lose hydraulic and electrical power. But the 787 has a trick up its sleeve called the ram air turbine. When power is lost, the rat drops from the belly of the aircraft to provide a backup source of power. You can think of it like a mini wind turbine that provides electrical power and a hydraulic pump. It's hard to tell on the low quality video, but some believe that they can see the ram air turbine being deployed and the distinctive sound that it makes. If there was a dual engine failure, this would be consistent. It's important to note that the ram air turbine provides no thrust. It's driven by the air around the fuselage. Others have noted they believe that the video shows that the flaps weren't deployed. I personally find it unlikely that the flaps weren't set correctly at the start of the takeoff roll. In the 787, with its advanced avionics, when the plane starts its takeoff roll, it'll scream at the pilot and display error messages indicating the flaps aren't set correctly. It's also very difficult to tell if the flaps were set correctly from such low quality video. Recall the CRJ in Toronto that crashed and flipped. Other people had claimed that the flaps weren't set correctly, yet it was later found out that the flaps were set. It is still possible that the pilots retracted the flaps too early, but this footage doesn't definitively show that. It has been confirmed that the pilots did make a mayday call, the most severe type of emergency call you can make. Some sources are saying that the mayday included calls of an engine failure. However, this has been unsubstantiated and no audio has been made available of this call. Of the 242 people on board, only one survived. The plane crashed into a nearby medical college, but the number of ground casualties is still unknown. At the time of this recording, there's been a confirmed 5 fatalities on the ground, with estimates of casualties of more than 50 people. The tail cone section, which houses the black boxes, appears to be mostly intact. meaning that we're likely to get good information from the black boxes. The American NTSB is sending over investigators as it was an American-built Boeing aircraft, and to all affected by this tragedy, we wish blue skies and tailwinds. We'll be keeping an eye on the latest in this investigation, so be sure to hit the subscribe button to get the latest developments.